Berekuet Adonai Amvarak, Barak Adonai Amavarak Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Melech Haolam Asher Bakar Banu Mikol, Amin Vinatan Lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Bless Adonai, who is to be blessed. Blessed is Adonai, who is to be blessed forever and ever. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who chose us from all the peoples and gave to us his Torah. Blessed are you, Lord, giver of Torah. Then I spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the whole Israelite community and say to them, You shall be holy, for I, your God, Adonai, am holy. You shall each revere your mother and your father, and keep my Sabbaths. I, Adonai, am your God. Do not turn to idols or make molten gods for yourself. I, Adonai, am your God. When you sacrifice an offering of well-being to Adonai, sacrifice it so that it may be accepted on your behalf. It shall be eaten on the day you sacrifice it, or on the day following. But what is left by the third day must be consumed in fire. If it should be eaten on the third day, it is an offensive thing. It will not be acceptable. And the one who eats of it shall bear the guilt for having profaned what is sacred to Adonai. That person shall be cut off from kin. When you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not reap all the way to the edges of your field, or gather the gleanings of your harvest. You shall not pick your vineyard bare, or gather the fallen fruit of your vineyard. You shall leave them for the poor and the stranger. I, Adonai, am your God. You shall not steal, you shall not deal deceitfully or falsely with one another. You shall not swear falsely by my name, profaning the name of your God. I am Adonai. You shall not defraud your fellow Israelite. You shall not commit robbery. The wages of a laborer shall not remain with you until morning. You shall not insult the deaf or place a stumbling block before the blind. You shall fear your God. I am Adonai. You shall not render an unfair decision. Do not favor the poor or show deference to the rich. Judge your kin fairly. Do not deal basely with members of your people. Do not profit by the blood of your fellow Israelite. I am Adonai. You shall not hate your kinsfolk in your heart. Reprove your kin, but incur no guilt on their account. You shall not take vengeance or bear a grudge against members of your people. Love your fellow Israelite as yourself. I am Adonai. You shall observe my laws. You shall not let your cattle mate with different kind. You shall not sow your field with two kinds of seed. You shall not put on cloth from a mixture of two kinds of material. If a man has carnal relations with a woman who is a slave and has been designated for another man, but has not been redeemed or given her freedom, there shall be an indemnity. They shall not, however, be put to death, since she has not been freed. But he must bring to the entrance of the tent of meeting, as his guilt offering to Adonai, a ram of guilt offering. With the ram of guilt offering, the priest shall make expiation for him before Adonai for the sin that he committed, and the sin that he committed will be forgiven him. When you enter the land and plant any tree for food, you shall regard its fruit as forbidden. 3 years it shall be forbidden for you not to be eaten. In the 4th year, all its fruit shall be set aside for jubilation before Adonai. And only in the 5th year may you use its fruit, that its yield to you may be increased. I, Adonai, am your God. You shall not eat anything with its blood. You shall not practice divination or soothsaying. You men shall not round off the side growth on your head or destroy the side growth of your beard. You shall not make gashes in your flesh for the dead, or incise any marks on yourself. I am Adonai. Do not degrade your daughter and make her a harlot, lest the land fall into harlotry, and the land be filled with depravity. You shall keep my Sabbaths and venerate my sanctuary. I am Adonai. Do not turn to ghosts and do not inquire of familiar spirits, to be defiled by them. I, Adonai, am your God. You shall rise before the aged and show deference to the old. You shall fear your God. I am Adonai. When strangers reside with you in your land, you shall not wrong them. The strangers who reside with you shall be to you as your citizens. You shall love each one as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I, Adonai, am your God. You shall not falsify measures of length, weight, or capacity. You shall have an honest balance, honest weights, an honest ephah, and an honest hin. I, Adonai, am your God, who freed you from the land of Egypt. You shall faithfully observe all my laws and all my rules. I am Adonai. And Adonai spoke to Moses, say further to the Israelite people, anyone among the Israelites or among the strangers residing in Israel who gives any offspring to Molech shall be put to death. The people of the land shall pelt the person with stones. And I will set my face against that party, whom I will cut off from among the people for having given offspring to Molech, and so defiled my sanctuary and profaned my holy name. And if the people of the land should shut their eyes to the parties giving offspring to Molech, and should not put the person to death, I myself will set my face against that party's kin as well, and I will cut off from among their people both that person and all who follow in going astray after Molech. And if any person turns to ghosts and familiar spirits and goes astray after them, I will set my face against that person, whom I will cut off from among the people. You shall sanctify yourself and be holy, for I, Adonai, am your God. You shall faithfully observe my laws. I, Adonai, make you holy. If anyone insults either father or mother, that person shall be put to death. That person has insulted father and mother and retains the blood guilt. If a man commits adultery with a married woman, committing adultery with another man's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall be put to death. If a man lies with his father's wife, it is the nakedness of his father that he has uncovered. The two shall be put to death, and they retain the blood guilt. If a man lies with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall be put to death. They have committed incest, and they retain the blood guilt. If a man lies with a male as one lies with a woman, the two of them have done an abhorrent thing. They shall be put to death, and they retain the blood guilt. If a man takes a woman and her mother into his household as his wives, it is depravity. Both he and they shall be put to the fire, that there be no depravity among you. If a man has carnal relations with a beast, he shall be put to death, and you shall kill the beast. If a woman approaches any beast to mate with it, you shall kill the woman and the beast. They shall be put to death, and they retain the blood guilt. If a man takes his sister into his household as a wife, the daughter of either his father or his mother, so that he sees her nakedness and she sees his nakedness, it is a disgrace. They shall be excommunicated in the sight of their kinsfolk. He has uncovered the nakedness of his sister, he shall bear the guilt. If a man lies with a woman during her menstrual condition and uncovers her nakedness, he has laid bare her flow and she has exposed her blood flow. Both of them shall be cut off from among their people. You males shall not uncover the nakedness of your mother's sister or of your father's sister, for that is laying bare one's own flesh. They shall bear their guilt. If a man lies with his uncle's wife, it is his uncle's nakedness that he has uncovered. They shall bear their guilt, they shall die childless. If a man takes the wife of his brother into his household as a wife, it is indecency. It is the nakedness of his brother that he has uncovered. They shall remain childless. You shall faithfully observe all my laws and all my regulations, lest the land to which I bring you to settle in spew you out. You shall not follow the practices of the nations that I am driving out before you, for it is because they did all these things that I abhorred them, and said to you, you shall possess their land, for I will give it to you to possess a land flowing with milk and honey. I, Adonai, am your God, who has set you apart from other peoples. So you shall set apart the pure beast from the impure bird from the pure. You shall not draw abomination upon yourselves through beast or bird or anything with which the ground is alive, which I have set apart for you to treat as impure. You shall be holy to me, for I, Adonai, am holy, and I have set you apart from other peoples to be mine. A man or a woman who has a ghost or a familiar spirit shall be put to death. They shall be pelted with stones, and they shall retain the blood guilt. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu et torato, torat emet, v'chayai olam nata bitochenu, Baruch atah Adonai noten ha-Torah. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who gave us the Torah of truth and set everlasting life in our midst. Blessed are you, Lord, giver of the Torah. Blessings before the Haftorah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bakar binviim tovim v'ratza v'devarim aneemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai aboker batorah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Israel amo uninvei haemet va'zedek. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has chosen good prophets and was pleased with their words that were uttered with truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, who chooses the Torah and Moses, God's servant, and Israel, God's people, and the prophets of truth and righteousness. And the word of God came to me, O mortal, speak to the elders of Israel and say to them, Thus said the sovereign God, have you come to inquire of me? As I live, I will not respond to your iniquity, declares the sovereign God. Arraign them, O mortal. Declare to them the abhorrent deeds of their ancestors. Say to them, Thus said the sovereign God, on the day that I chose Israel, I gave my oath to the stock of the house of Jacob when I made myself known to them in the land of Egypt. I gave my oath to them when I said, I, the Eternal, am your God. That same day I swore to them to take them out of the land of Egypt into a land flowing with milk and honey, a land that I had sought out for them, the fairest of all lands. I also said to them, Cast away, every one of you, the detestable things that you are drawn to, and do not defile yourself with the fetishes of Egypt. I, the Eternal, am your God. But they defied me and refused to listen to me. Not one of them cast away the detestable things they were drawn to, nor did they give up the fetishes of Egypt. Then I resolved to pour out my fury upon them, to vent all my anger upon them there in the land of Egypt. But I acted for the sake of my name, that it might not be profaned in the sight of the nations among whom they were. For it was before their eyes that I had made myself known to Israel, to bring them out of the land of Egypt. I brought them out of the land of Egypt, and I led them into the wilderness. I gave them my laws and taught them my rules, by the pursuit of which human shall live. Moreover, I gave them my Sabbaths to serve as a sign between me and them, that they might know that it is I, God, who sanctify them. But the house of Israel rebelled against me in the wilderness. They did not follow my laws, and they rejected my rules, by the pursuit of which human shall live. and they grossly desecrated my Sabbaths. Then I thought to pour out my fury upon them in the wilderness, and to make an end of them. But I acted for the sake of my name, that it might not be profaned in the sight of the nations before whose eyes I had led them out. However, I swore to them in the wilderness that I would not bring them into the land flowing with milk and honey, the fairest of all lands that I assigned to them. For they had rejected my rules, disobeyed my laws, and desecrated my Sabbaths. Their hearts followed after their fetishes. But I had pity on them and did not destroy them. I did not make an end of them in the wilderness. I warned their children in the wilderness. Do not follow the practices of your ancestors. Do not keep their ways, and do not defile yourselves with their fetishes. I, the Eternal One, am your God. Follow my laws and be careful to observe my rules, and hallow my Sabbaths, that they may be a sign between me and you, that you may know that I, the Eternal One, am your God. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zer kol haolamim zadik, vekol adoret ahel הנאמן, האומר ועושה, עם דבר חיים, שכל דבריו אמת וצדק. נאמן אתה אדוני אלוהינו, ונאמנים דבריך, ודבר אחד מדבריך אחור לא ישב, רחם כי אל מלך נאמן, ורחמם אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הנאמן בכל דבריו. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, rock of all eternities, righteous in all generations, the faithful God who says and does, who speaks and fulfills, all of whose words are true. Faithful are you, Lord our God, and faithful are your words. Not one of your words turns back unfulfilled, for you, O God, are a faithful and compassionate King. Blessed are you, Lord, the God who is faithful in all his words.